short. How do you do this? Sorry. Not like that. Not like that. Not like that.
It's got like a handle.
Okay, I'm doing it wrong. Can you help me? I'm sorry. Oh yeah. I am. I don't know how it happened. So here's a short story I wrote for my collection of short stories, and anyway, it's kind of deeply personal, so I try not to tear up. I might literally. I have to turn this. Sorry, I can't even look at it. Okay. And it's called Dead Reckoning. Vera stands over Jonah, scrunched cross-legged on the dirt carpet. She circles around and behind him, leaning in and repeating phrases in his ears on top of the deafening muddle of schizophrenic voices. He was tied to a radiator in his apartment for 9 months, being kicked in the ribs, but they never seemed to shatter. There's another flashback. It shows Jonah walking with Vera and her boyfriend Jared down Main Street in downtown Riverside. They pass an overweight man, thickly bearded, resting on the bench by a fountain who Jonah always thought to himself resembles Allen Ginsberg. Vera rolls his eyes at and away from the man. "Your team," she tells Jared. The three then decide to stop at Walgreens to steal Coracetin. As they approach the drugstore, Jonah, in a somber tone, quotes the warning label printed on the boxes of cough meds. "Talk to your children about teen medicine abuse." In jest, Jonah suggests that perhaps the trio shouldn't abuse the cough med as they were not teenagers. Or are we, postulates Jared. "We're going to do it anyway, so we might as well do it," Vera explains to Jonah in a glibly subtle yet inferring way. Neither Jonah nor Jared realize the further implications of this. Vera had a class at Riverside Community College once a week for which she would wake up early and get ready. Jonah looked forward to the few hours of respite from her solitude and his one chance to sleep in, and so before she left the studio apartment, she would wake him up by tickling his feet in a sadistic way for at least 5 minutes, sometimes 10. There's another flashback, an occurrence which stands as living proof of free will. There is Vera, crouched like a cat on his love seat, swaying, darting her fugly rear end in the air, and gazing at Jonah in a seductive way. Jonah looked away from her, stares down at the cupboard beneath the television set. If I choose to look right, I cheat on Raven with Vera. If I choose to look left, I ask Vera to leave. That 10 seconds lasts a decade, and Jonah looks to the right. "Jonah, I don't know if you care, but Raven is in labor," Raven's mother tells him over the phone. Hope is there for him in a flash, and drives him to the hospital and tells him, "Jonah, I think you may have had an aneurysm recently, since the last time I saw you." Jonah and Hope arrive at the hospital. When he enters the room, Raven's mother and first child are sitting in the corner. The 5-year-old's leg is broken in a cast. "What happened to you, kid?" says the discombobulated Jonah, attempting to be silly but coming off as rude. Then he looks to the right. Raven and Jonah's newborn child cradled in her arms. The baby is waving her fingers in the air, testing her surroundings. "What's she doing?" asks Jonah, enamored. She's casting spells. She's casting spells, explains Raven, heavily sedated from the troublesome birth. Jonah reaches over reverently and lightly caresses his daughter's hair, then caresses Raven's red hair. "Are you sure you want to sign this birth certificate?" This flashback is too confusing to make any sense of. Who was it that said that to him? For 10 or so years, Jonah believed it was his own mother who convinced him not to sign. Years later, he became convinced Vera had told him not to sign it. Clearly it was not his mother. Regardless of the reality or lack thereof, Jonah never signed his daughter's birth certificate. "Why do you stare at that retarded necklace? Why? Why do you stare at it all the time?" Jonah lay gazing at the rose quartz necklace Raven had given him and ignoring Vera. No answer. Because you're still in love with yours. You're still in love with that stupid, dumb, fat, ugly bitch. And somewhere in between flashbacks, another beating would begin. Later, Jonah, out of pure desperation, absconded the sacred rose quartz to his friend Phoenix to take. A week or two later, Phoenix told him that he had accidentally dropped the crystal and it had shattered into 3 pieces. The best, or should I say the only good flashback, is that of going to the menagerie, finding Hope and Phoenix, and asking them to come back to his apartment as bodyguards. The two proceeded to sit casually and witness Jonah kicking Vera out, throwing her crap into the yard. Vera screams and weeps crocodile tears while Hope and Phoenix sit grinning, calm gestures to the proceedings, gladly rescuing their dear friend. You know what's so fucked up, Jonah? Vera postulated several months after their long-needed breakup. She paused sadly, penitent. Is it no one would want to be you, but no one wants you to be you either? People are fucking awful. I am awful. I stole you from your child. She was weeping. She looks determined. Jonah, you can write anything you want about me, because it's all true. Thank you.